I dream of an India that is prosperous, strong, and caring. An India that regains a place of honor in the comedy of great nations. You can change friends but not neighbors. We are unnecessarily wasting our precious resources in wars. If we must wage war, we have to do it on unemployment, disease, poverty, and backwardness. I have a vision of India, an India free of hunger and fear, an India free of illiteracy and want. Victory and defeat are a part of life, which are to be viewed with equanimity. Our aim may be as high as the endless sky, but we should have a resolve in our minds to walk ahead, hand in hand, for victory will be ours. Empowering the individual means empowering the nation. And empowerment is best served through rapid economic growth with rapid social change. If India is not secular, then India is not India at all. Let no one challenge India's secularism. My message to the people and rulers of Pakistan is, as neighbors, we want peace and friendship and cooperation with you so that together we can change the face of South Asia. Quiet diplomacy is far more effective than public posturing. Population needs to be stabilized for sustainable development. I try to indulge my muse whenever I am able to get away from it all. The spending in science and technology need to be increased. Global interdependence today means that economic disasters in developing countries could create a backlash on developed countries. Terrorism has become a festering wound. It is an enemy of humanity. No guns, but only brotherhood can resolve the problems. Our objective should be to firmly deal with terrorism and its sponsors, financiers, and arms suppliers. At the same time, our doors should always be open for processes which would restore peace, development, and progress to societies which have been devastated by terrorism over many generations. Free and fair elections have again demonstrated that Jammu and Kashmir is part of India, and the people want to remain with it. The reality is that international institutions like the UN can only be as effective as its members allow it to be. India was secular even when Muslims hadn't come here and Christians hadn't set foot on this soil. It is not as if India became secular after they came. They came with their own modes of worship, and they, too, were given a place of honor and respect. They had the freedom to worship God as per their wish and inclination. People want government to deliver, here and now. The BJP regards Muslims as Indians and human beings. Poverty is multidimensional. It extends beyond money incomes to education, healthcare, political participation, and advancement of one's own culture and social organization. It is true that of all the states in India, Nagaland has a unique history. We are sensitive to this historical fact. But this uniqueness has in no way diminished the spirit of patriotism among the Naga people. In Indonesia, Malaysia, wherever Muslims are living, they don't want to live in harmony. I have never been a traitor. I am not an informer, I never betrayed my nation. I believe the gun is no solution to problems. We have given up office, but not our responsibility to serve the nation. We have lost an election, but not our determination. For me, power was never an attraction. I prefer to die rather than eat beef. There can be no compromise regarding corruption. While accepting donations, no one looks at the color of money. If Pakistan claims to be a crucial partner in the international coalition against terrorism, how can it continue to use terrorism as an instrument of state policy against India? During the 1942 Quit India movement, I was a student at Gwalior High School. I was arrested by the British for participating in the movement. My parents then sent me off to my village where, again, I jumped into the movement. Our nuclear weapons are meant purely as a deterrent against nuclear adventure by an adversary. We should always care for the minorities and be attentive towards their welfare. Indian democracy's greatest strength is that we have always put the nation above politics. India has never played politics with national security. We believe that the United States and the rest of the international community can play a useful role by exerting influence on Pakistan to put a permanent and visible end to cross-border terrorism against India. We believe in equal respect for all faiths. No one can be considered untouchable on political grounds. India and the United States have taken a decisive step away from the past. The dawn of the new century has marked a new beginning in our relations. Let us work to fulfill this promise and the hope of today. Let us remove the shadow of agitation that lies between us and our joint vision. It is a matter of concern that science departments in India's vast university system have suffered greatly due to lack of investments, both material and in terms of faculty. We want peace to be permanent. The regional parties have emerged as a strong force, and they, too, deserve a place in national politics. Members of India's diaspora, living in distant lands of the world, my good wishes to all of you. You may be far away from India, but you are always close to our hearts. There was an implicit conviction that the UN would be stronger than the sum of its constituent member states. Himachal is my second home. I believe India and Israel should focus on building bilateral relations, on the basis of shared perspectives and commonalities between our two democracies. This has to be a forward-looking exercise, rather than harking back to perceptions of the past. Our words, actions, and diplomatic efforts should be aimed at trying to achieve pragmatic goals, rather than creating rhetorical effect. Who can forget that in critical times of war in 1962, 1965, and 1971, Naga underground organizations did not fire on the Indian Army. They showed restraint. Violence does not contribute to anything. Ours is a multi-religious country, a multilingual country. We have many different modes of worship. We believe in peaceful and harmonious coexistence. I would like that no citizen of the state feels alone and helpless. The entire nation is with them. India has a consistent and well-known position on terrorism. We oppose all acts of terrorism, wherever they occur. We have repeatedly said that no cause can justify violence and destruction, particularly aimed at civilians. We have ended hunger, but now we have to end famine. I believe that democracy is the best guarantor for peace and cooperation among nations. It requires an effort of logical acrobatics, to believe that carnage of innocence is an instrument for freedom, and elections are a symbol of deception and repression. Our aim should be to make India a global R&D hub. India is a proud and sovereign country. We do not take any decisions under pressure from the US or any other power. The overwhelming public sentiment in India was that no meaningful dialogue can be held with Pakistan until it abandons the use of terrorism as an instrument of its foreign policy. We need to convert the extraordinary goodwill between India and Russia into a thriving, visible, vigorous, and mutually beneficial economic relationship. My poet's heart gives me strength to face political problems, particularly those which have a bearing on my conscience. Though I stay in Delhi, I often think about Himachal. In the euphoria after the Cold War, there was a misplaced notion that the UN could solve every problem anywhere. My government is committed to carrying out electoral reforms. It is our firm resolve to keep criminal elements away from power. The Prime Minister's office is not something that one enjoys. The BJP decides its own policies. Creative universities are bedrock of every developed nation's S&T strategy. The UN's unique legitimacy flows from a universal perception that it pursues a larger purpose than the interests of one country or a small group of countries. Labor reforms are not anti-worker. Labor reforms are not anti-worker. Our nuclear scientists and engineers have done a splendid job, and naturally, the entire nation has risen to salute their professional excellence, discipline, and patriotism. They have had the benefit of having been led in the past by great men like Homi Bhabha and Vikram Sarabhai. Neither India nor Russia perceives a threat from the strength of the other. Each sees a benefit for itself in the increased political and economic strength of the other. If Advantaji did not want, I would never have been Prime Minister. For development, peace is essential. This power of democracy is a matter of pride for our country, something which we must always cherish, preserve, and further strengthen. The Biodiversity Convention has not yielded any tangible benefits to the world's poor. We used to fight with Pakistan with bombs. Now we are fighting with them on the playing ground. People who ask us when we will hold talks with Pakistan are, perhaps not aware that over the last 55 years, every initiative for a dialogue with Pakistan has invariably come from India. If Pakistan had not accepted the demand to stop cross-border infiltration, and the United States had not conveyed to us Pakistan's guarantee to do so, then nothing could have stopped a war. For the Bharatiya Janata Party, Gandhian socialism is what we want to achieve and make society free of exploitation, and full of opportunities. India has a legitimate right to becoming a permanent member of the UN Security Council. Our frequent initiatives to normalize relations with Pakistan are not a sign of our weakness, rather, they are an indication of our commitment to peace. As we talk with candor, we open the doors to new possibilities, and new areas of cooperation in advance in democracy, in combating terrorism, in energy and environment, science and technology and international peacekeeping. Whatever understanding is reached with Pakistan has to be followed honestly, and everybody will have to rise above party politics, and be actively committed to make India prosperous. India has the sanction of her own past glory and future vision to become strong, in every sense of the term. If the elections are a mere fraud, why are terrorists being trained and infiltrated into India at the command of the Inter-Services Intelligence Agency of Pakistan, to kill election candidates and to intimidate voters? Let me make one thing clear. I have never considered mere survival in power as any achievement, just as I have never seen coming to power as an achievement in itself. We hope the world will act in the spirit of enlightened self-interest. I am contesting elections since 1952, but never did I throw mud. No state should be allowed to profess partnership with the global coalition against terror, while continuing to aid, abet, and sponsor terrorism. The BJP is not a party dependent on a single individual, nor is it tied to the apron strings of a family. India helped Bangladesh to achieve independence. The Bangladeshis should remain happy inside the territory of their own country. I am often accused of colluding with the British during the freedom struggle. I want to ask, how?